Oh, there we go. Welcome back. Very exciting return.
Heck yeah.
The show's not titled what it was titled originally. But
Tyler's return.
That's a movie.
Exactly.
we changed the title. We changed the title. I thought it was, too much about me. But we're back.
Well, people on YouTube are definitely out there being like searching Tyler's return. So we're gonna get a lot of viewers from that. So it makes a lot of sense.
Are they?
Oh yeah, I think so. Why not? they're missing you, man.
I mean, anything is possible.
Anything is possible. No.
But yeah, so we're back. We're back. We're not going to call it. Oh, really? We're not going to call it Ask DLF anymore. I have too many. I don't even know what to call it. Bad memories with that name. So we're not going to call it that. I haven't given the show a title yet. Sad memories. I don't know. I wouldn't say sad. We'll just call it whatever I need to call it on a weekly basis. We'll see. But we'll still answer some questions. I might have some shows where I do something else. We may do a mock draft or two here and there. Apparently, Chad became a YouTube member.
He did that early in the morning. Shout out Chad.
Good job, Chad. Good job.
I know I was not awake at that time. I was not awake.
I had to be.
Well,
you got school.
Yeah, I had to go to school. Yeah, I got school to be at. So if it's 6:00.
That's when you wake up.
Yeah, I wake up at 6:00. That's some mornings. Some mornings
that's early.
Some mornings I'm up more at like 5 because I go to the gym in the mornings.
Ugh.
Some morning.
It's totally unreasonable.
I'm fine with it, honestly. I'm good in the morning. I'm much more productive in the morning than I am at night.
I'm not.
Can't say the same.
Oh, I absolutely am. I need to get my stuff out of the way, get it done, and if I'm waiting around to get it done, then it's less and less likely to happen. To be honest with you.
Yeah, but at night when the sun goes down, I find myself typing 200 words per minute instead of 100. Like
really, I consider myself a night owl, but like I don't like getting into things at night. I don't know. It slows me down.
I love grinding the tape at night. That's what I do most nights.
I love it.
Well, that would assume that you grind tape at all. I mean, I don't.
I do what?
I don't do that.
Oh no!
Got him. Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
To leave.
No, you do it, but I don't.
That's what
What do you think I said?
I grinded tape.
Yeah, but I don't
a lot. And I plan on doing it this year. I just got to find my space. I got to find.
You were still more right than I was this whole year for fantasy rankings, and you didn't grind the tape at all. So, what does that say about tape grinding, or what does that say about my?
Don't feed the ego. Don't feed the ego. I've been getting feedback that I'm too egotistical. You're gonna make it much worse. We don't want to do that.
Who would say that, Tyler?
Apparently, a lot of people. I don't really care. I really don't.
I could see how that you could come off like that. I think you could too. I
don't care.
You're confident.
I don't care anymore, man. Like it is what it is.
Life's good. Life's good.
If people can watch the show if they want to, or if not, they cannot watch the show. And I'm at peace with it. It is how life works. I'm at peace with it, to be honest. Let's see.
Let's do it.
So our first question from Daniel. Let's see, he has 103, 107, 201, 207. Okay. So questions like this, my least favorite. We started off with my least favorite type of question. I'll say this. We want to make sure we target value in the draft, right? We're not going to, it's January 31st. We're not going to go into the draft with a plan of what we're going to target, based on positional need, because that's how you get behind the 8 ball, right? You want to accumulate value on your dynasty team. So the way to do that is to pick the best players, not to fill holes here and there. Then you're always behind. You're always filling holes. You don't want to play that way. So
you're definitely right.
I would say keep an open mind.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I mean, you couldn't say that much better, honestly. When you look at fantasy football as a whole, honestly, not just like in rookie drafts or anywhere, you always want to be drafting for value, not positions. When you're filling positions, you usually like, obviously you still can fill a position and draft the most valuable player. Like that's not out of this world. You can do that. But when it comes to drafting the most valuable player or just drafting a player to fill a need, it's always better to draft the valuable player because you could always just trade that player for the position you potentially want. Or if that player really works out, you can just keep them and they're the more valuable player. Like 9 out of 10 times, you always want to be drafting for the most valuable player, especially at this time in a rookie draft. If you're drafting very soon, yeah, just go for the most valuable players. I don't think Tyler could have said that better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice of
Hey,
you.
look, when it comes down, people might be worried about drafting running backs. Your team, you might not think's that good. So you'd be like, I got to go with wide receivers in the draft because they last longer, right? But people want young running backs as well. That's the cheapest you can get them a lot of the time in the rookie draft. So, get those young running backs. You can flip them if you need to. You can start 3 running backs in this league. It's not a detriment to have more running backs. I'm sure they are valuable to the other members in your league. So,
Especially, 3 running backs.
Best player available for sure. Yeah. No doubt about that, man.
It's funny with 103 because right now in January, it looks like Gibbs and Bijan are going 101 and 102. So it's probably going to be a wide receiver.
I would say
Well,
so,
assuming it's not a super flex. If it's a super flex,
He said one quarterback.
He said
I think this
1QB.
is a super. Given this question,
1QB?
it almost certainly is a super flex.
Oh,
then,
yeah.
And the answer to that to that question is no. I mean, I wouldn't trade away Lawrence or Burrow for the 101. I mean, I'd rather just keep the quarterbacks.
No.
Trey Lance.
Yep.
I mean, now's your chance to get rid of him.
You're not going to be able to do it straight.
I would get rid of
one.
him.
You have to add to the Lance.
You're not going to. Yeah, I would get rid
not.
of Lance too if I were you. Yeah, you're not getting rid of him the 101.
You probably could get the 101 with Burrow or Lawrence.
Easily.
Good.
Definitely. You can get it.
But I wouldn't do it.
Me neither.
In a super flex league, gotta say that. One quarterback league, yes, trade all those quarterbacks for the 101. Come on.
I agree. How are you feeling about Gabe Davis going into next season? Not good.
Never ends.
Nope, not good at all. I feel like Gabe Davis is somebody this was the year for him. This was the year to show it. This was the year to prove it. This was his season. Everything was set up right for him, and he still came out. And he had some big games. He had a few big games where he had good weeks for you, but the rest of the time he sucked. Like he had a few good weeks, and the rest of the time he was just plain out bad for fantasy football. And it's just proven that it's very clear that outside of Stephon Diggs, there is no consistent, reliable option on the Bills' offense when you look at the receiving game, at least. And as long as they don't add wide receivers or something doesn't happen, for now, that's just not going to change. Stephon Diggs is the only reliable option in Buffalo, and that was proven this year. I mean, look at Dawson Knox this year, too. Look at Gabe Davis. Look at every single other option on the Bills besides Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. It was just good games here and there, and that was it.
I mean, Gabe Davis wasn't very efficient on his targets. He only
he wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, he never has been, though.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing changed.
And it's not like he's getting a ton of targets either, I mean, they're good targets. They're deep targets. It's the targets you want from Josh Allen. But, yeah, if he's the most catches he's had all year, 6, averaging closer to around 3 per game, that's not a guy that you can trust on a week-to-week basis by any means.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And let me just say this, while we're here, I would say if you're here, make sure to like the video, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, make a comment in the live chat, ask a question, that kind of thing. I will say I love doing this show, but, I don't, it is what it is. I want to do the show. I think people, if a lot of people really enjoy it and people love it, I don't want to stop doing the show. But, if you really, I'll just say this, if you really like the show, show your support for the show. It really helps me. It means a lot to me, and I would just appreciate that. So we'll see. But I just appreciate everyone who came back after we took some time off, and who's everyone who supported me in the year and a half I've done this show. And I'm not going anywhere from the fantasy industry or anything like that. So if this isn't the platform for it, we'll see. But I'm hoping that the audience comes back to the old days, and this goes back to being the best live chat on YouTube once again. But nostalgia maybe. We'll have to say.
Oh, this is a huge discussion. We could spend all show on
I feel
this.
like I've had it so many times. I feel like I've had this discussion like 100 times.
Yeah. On my podcast recently, I kind of like avoided talking about the whole thing. I mean, I actually didn't know about the Brock Purdy injury, and I recorded that on Monday. So I actually
I listened to your recording, but I don't really remember what you said about that specifically.
Yeah, I barely talked about it because I had already talked about it more on other episodes. I'm writing an article on it for DLF right now that's coming out like later February. So like I've been talking about all over on Twitter all the time. So like I've talked about it so much. But yeah, man, with Brock Purdy now injured, he's going to be out at least 6 months, and if he returns in 6 months, that sets up for him to return in August, so right in time for preseason. So he's going to miss a lot of OTAs, he's going to miss a lot of practices, he's going to miss a lot, and Trey Lance is going to have the opportunity to show what he's got in a lot of those practices with Brock Purdy absent. So when you look at who's going to be the starter for the 49ers, it's really tough. I think before this injury, I would have said Brock Purdy if I had to put money on somebody. But after this, it's really tough not to put money on Trey Lance. He's going to have so much time to be able to develop rapport with this team. I know Tyler. I know what he's going to say because Tyler. If he would have, if he was actually that good, because if he was actually that good, he would have started his first year. You don't know. What are you going to say?
Tom Brady will start.
Oh, that was what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say.
Well, yeah, obviously, if Tom Brady was played there, he will start.
Well, let's take a look. Let's take a look at the. He was there in San Francisco, so he was totally there. At the same time, conveniently, Kyle Shanahan was nowhere to be found. It was very interesting last year. Kyle Shanahan was nowhere to be found, and Tom Brady just happened to be there. What a coincidence that they just happened to be in the same place at the same time. How convenient. We all know that Tom Brady tried to force his way to Miami last year. We know this, but that didn't work out because of the Brian Flores lawsuit. Stop that from happening. But it's so convenient right at the same time, the same week that was happening. He just happened to be there at the same place as Kyle Shanahan. What a coincidence. That seems so odd to me. But of course, it's not odd because Brady's wanted to play for the 49ers his whole life. Why is it odd now? So, of course, he's going to be the starter because you can't go to Trey Lance. I mean, failure. I mean, it's 3 years now of failure. There's nothing. I mean, the last thing he did that was good was in 2019. That's
Hutch wants to say it was injury related.
Hutch was Hutch even in middle school then? I don't even know. I don't even know how old Hutch was then, but it was very young. It's going to be Tom Brady. I mean, you can look at the odds. The odds have shortened on Tom Brady being the starter for the 49ers. I think it's down. I mean, that's the favorite for his next team, ahead of the Bucs, by the way. Ahead of the Bucs or the Raiders or anyone else.
Yeah.
The Patriots are in there, but the 49ers are number one choice for Tom Brady next year. And I think that that's what's going to happen. I think that before the Brock Purdy injury, it was different because Brock Purdy would be healthy. He'd have a whole opportunity to work in the offseason program. But now he's not healthy, so he's not going to have an opportunity to do that. And I think really realistically what happens is that they sign Tom Brady and that they trade Trey Lance away. And they keep Brock Purdy as the backup.
Yeah, if they were to trade, obviously, if they were traded for, I wasn't thinking about Tom Brady, but if they were to make a move for Tom Brady's starting for the team, and there's no doubt about it. But if they were to also trade for Tom Brady, that completely kills any value that Trey Lance has ever had. It kills him completely.
He traded, I think, right?
It would. It kills everything because if
Trey Lance would get traded, he would have to, right?
No, he would, but it would kill my belief in him.
That's fair.
That's already. Well, I mean,
It's already
I
happened for Tyler.
It's already happened.
But
Yeah, I don't.
It's already happened for Tyler, but it would be clear to the rest of the fantasy community that the 49ers don't believe he's good.
Who's ever drafting? Well, let's talk about something from DLF. We're here. Why don't we talk about this? Is a great thing. Let's talk about. I was just reading this article from Wyatt. You know, he published this article. It's very good. It was published today. I bring it up because I'm writing some of the later entries in that series. It's about past, present, future rookie pick value. He wrote the first one. It dropped today. I signed up for 3 articles in that series because I thought it was such a good idea. I'm actually writing my entry. It'll be about early second round picks and what those are worth. So I'm writing that right now. But the point is, he was writing about the value of the 104. It says right here that according to the DLF trade analyzer, Trey Lance is somewhat equivalent in value to the 104. And I have more from let's look. Let's see. It says Superflex ADP. Let's see. Trey Lance was picked 23rd. I mean,
overall.
Yeah. Why? What has he done in 2 years to do that? Why? Why is that pop? Why
he
is that
shouldn't
not?
be picked there? He shouldn't be
Of
picked
course
there.
not.
At the end of the
not.
second round, someone picked him, huh?
That's crazy. I mean, no, but not just once, 4 times. I mean, over 4 different drafts. The latest that he went in any of those was 33rd overall. That's the latest.
Luke Sawhook must have been in all these drafts.
Oh, I'm sure he was. But he couldn't have been in all of them. You can only be in one. So 4 different people.
3 burner accounts.
Well, you know, anything is possible. We'll have to look into that. But the point is that I've never seen a group delusion. It's like the people who support Trey Lance, they're living in a different universe. We, the rest of us, are living in reality. Reality where Trey Lance has not done anything since 2019. Yeah, he was picked 3rd overall 2 years ago. He hasn't done anything in the NFL. He didn't do anything his last year of college. It's been a long time. There's been an injury for a running quarterback may affect his mobility, which could affect his fantasy value. Didn't look good in the limited sample size we've seen him actually play in the NFL. Didn't look good in that one game in 2020 in college. It's been a long time. And even when he was, you know, he played at a lower level of college competition 4 years ago. That's the reality. But delusional people who picked Trey Lance early in their rookie draft, somehow he is still worth equivalent to the 104?
No.
It's delusional. No. These people are delusional, completely delusional. Like Trey Lance, for me, I have him about equivalent in value to the 111. I think that's more reasonable.
You can't get him for that.
No, well, I'm not going to get him. I mean, believe me, I'm not going to get him.
I've tried.
Well, I'm good. I'm not going to get him because I don't want him. Too much failure. I don't want failure. I'm not going to get him. But that's what I think is reasonable. If I had Trey Lance, and I was looking to get rid of him, maybe I'd try to get the 108. But I wouldn't even think to ask for the 104. I wouldn't even ask for it because I thought that would apparently maybe I should have. Maybe I should have asked for it because it seems that that's the consensus of whatever this is coming from. But these people are out of their minds. So I don't understand it. I don't get it. And I think it's time to reconsider. And it's never too late to reconsider. It's never too late. People always say, oh, Tyler, you always change your mind every week. It's always a different thing, always a different opinion. Oh, you always change your mind. Why can't you stick to something? Well, it's because I like being right. I like being right. So if my opinion of what is right changed in the last 2 weeks, of course I'm going to change my mind. I care a lot more about being right than about the public perception of me. Public perception of me, I can't control that. But I can control the advice that I give. And the advice that I give is that Trey Lance is a very risky prospect. 25th overall or 23rd overall or whatever you want to call it is not risky. You should be getting someone there who's safe. We're talking about someone who, players around there. I mean, there's Jalen Waddle is in that value range. Breece Hall is a little bit after, which I don't understand how that's possible. But I'm just saying, I mean, there are Amon-Ra is after, Garrett Wilson is after. I mean, these are very high-end receivers. Very high-end receivers. I would love to have those players as a cornerstone of my dynasty team. But you'd rather pick Trey Lance, who is so risky. I just don't get it. I don't get it. So people are doing that, and I think
yeah, I agree. I think the draft price on Trey Lance at that point is absolutely madness because
it's heinous.
Yeah, it's just people think because with this Brock Purdy injury, and like I was talking about, I think the odds go for Trey Lance being the starter. Obviously, if Tom Purdy isn't brought in or a different quarterback isn't brought in, because I feel like if it's just these two, Trey Lance is going to start, and people are just so hungry for that experience. People are going wild for that experience of him being the actual starter, him being healthy, him being ready to go. People are going crazy for that, and that's why he's being starting to shoot up in draft boards. And I think that's a great opportunity to sell him and get rid of him because if Tom Brady gets traded to that team, the Dynasty Fantasy Football community on Trey Lance will be where Tyler is at, or probably even worse. Like we will find, like people will finally realize, oh shoot, Trey Lance, like the 49ers actually do not believe in him at all, and they don't think he's good, which is why they brought in 40 or like 58-year-old Tom Brady to play for them instead of him.
Well, I think once they do bring in Tom Brady, we're going to see. We're gonna see. Yes, the super chat. Yes. Good question. What are we selling, buying Swift for? I'll save you some time. We can ignore what we're buying him for. We're not doing that. That's, let's talk about, okay, so we have, it's funny actually, we got to the two most delusional ADPs in a row, 2 in a row. Because this one is worse, actually, in my opinion. This one is worse. I don't understand this one at all. Let's see. January ADP, DeAndre Swift, 26 overall, 27.17, raw, RB9. That is just detached from any reality. That's detached from reality. There's no reason, none at all, why that should be the reality. None. Zero. It is just hype. Delusional. That ADP. It makes no sense. None at all. So if you can get anything close to that, you can send him packing. Because I don't want him. I have him about, 2.5 rounds lower. So I'm totally out. I have no interest. As for what you're selling for, well, let's see. My chart here says in a 1 QB, he's worth between the 108 and the 109. And in Superflex, I have him exactly equal to the 201. So take that for what it's worth. But his ADP says he's worth a lot more. And I don't understand. I really don't get it. Like with Trey Lance, you could at least say, well, we haven't seen, that the possibility could be this. With DeAndre Swift, we've seen it. We've seen 3 years of it. Why is it going to be different in year 4? Running back doesn't take 4 years. Why is it going to be different in year 4? Why? What is going to change? The coach? No, that's actually not changing. The personnel on the team? No, actually, that's either going to be Jamal Williams is back or it's going to be a much more terrifying version of Jamal Williams.
Really? You think so?
Well, I think those are the two choices.
I don't really see that happening. Yeah,
those
Jamal
are the two
Williams,
choices.
I think, is likely. But
those are the two choices.
Not sign him and sign someone better.
No. Or, not and. Or.
Yeah.
Or. Those are the two choices.
Yeah, I know.
What's not going to happen is that Jamal Williams is going to depart and they're not going to replace him. That's not going to happen. What's going to happen is the most likely scenario.
Why do you think that's not possible?
What do you mean they're not going to replace him? They have. How is that possible? That's not possible. Delusional people believe that, but that's not possible.
No. Genuinely, I just want to ask you, why do you think that Jamal Williams will be replaced by a more scary option? Because Jamal Williams scored like 17 touchdowns this year.
Okay. When I say more scary, like
what do you mean by more scary? Because do you mean
I think he means
Bijan Robinson would be more scary. Put it that way. That's a bad. I mean, that's a possibility.
That out there.
That would be ridiculous.
I think that is unlikely. I think that's unlikely.
I don't think that's possible.
But what? No, I think that's unlikely. I think it's possible. I disagree. I think it is possible. I think the most likely scenario is that they re-sign Jamal Williams. But if they don't, what I'm saying, the point is what's not possible is that they're going to let Jamal Williams walk and not replace him. If they let Jamal Williams walk, he's being replaced with someone better than Jamal Williams, not worse. So Like they could sign. I mean, they have the 49th pick overall. That is a spot where a running back would absolutely be in play. Absolutely. I mean, Zach Charbonnet at that point, depending on, I mean, we'll have to see. Sean Tucker, Zach Evans, we'll have to see who does well at the combine, who earns that kind of draft capital. But they spent a second round pick on DeAndre Swift in 2020. We're now in 2023. 49 overall, absolutely could be another running back. We're going in the last year of DeAndre Swift's contract. They have not shown that they want him. Like, they're not using him like they really want him. They're not using him.
Top 24 running back every year of his career. Well,
that's not helpful. That's not helpful. You said top 24. That's so great. He's RB9 in ADP. Why is he RB9?
I'm not driving it.
Why is he RB9?
Actually,
I mean, he shouldn't be RB9. If
he's in the
3
early
years,
teens for me.
well, at a price of RB9, it's 3 years of failure. If he was RB20, then you could talk about top 24.
I think the crazier thing is just his overall draft spot.
It's just devoid of reality. That's all it is. It's devoid of reality. It's devoid of any reality. RB9 and 26 overall, whatever it was, is not connected.
26 overall. You should be going.
But RB9 is also delusional. It's completely not in touch. It's not in touch with any reality. It's not in touch of anything that's happened in the last 3 years. Nothing at all. Nothing to earn that kind of ADP. If you said RB15, fine. Then I could understand you. RB9, no. RB9, no. That is not in touch with reality. It's just not. People are seeing the name DeAndre Swift. This happens all the time. He was popular as a rookie, and after 2 years, he was really hyped. People see the name DeAndre Swift, and they don't want to let go. That's what's happening. You call a spade a spade. What we do on this show, and what I've always wanted to do, is talk about what's really happening. That's what's happening. Just because the ADP is there doesn't mean it's right.
Look,
again,
he's a great pass-catching running back that is safe.
There is no case for DeAndre Swift to be RB9. None at all.
He's very efficient with the touches he does get.
For RB9, there's no case. There's just no case. There are sometimes there are ADPs. No, there just
overall,
isn't.
I'm out on.
There's no case for RB9.
No,
if you said RB15, I could see the case. RB9, not at all.
There's just not let me make the case.
Go for it, but there is none.
It's okay. It's okay.
There is none.
All right.
It is not real. That's why
not too many running backs are more efficient than him or as good of a pass catcher as him.
It doesn't matter. Fantasy points weren't there. We have 3 years now. 3 years now of not doing it. At some point you have to do it. It can't just be.
He has missed games a lot of his career too. When you look at
that's another problem.
He has missed games. He is definitely health is definitely also a concern for him. I mean, they're just you see the talent on the field and you see it in flashes in production. But I agree, it hasn't happened in 3 years. And I'm sort of with Tyler here, where it's like it's haven't happened for 3 years. I don't think it's likely to happen.
It doesn't matter whether it's going to happen or not anyway. Because in terms of dynasty value, once you have this kind of thing, eventually reality, like it did with Miles Sanders and with Antonio Gibson and others, eventually reality is going to creep into people's minds. And they're going to realize that this RB9 price is just insane. And that it's going to come down. And the value, once it goes down for a running back like that, it does not return. Josh Jacobs is the one I can think of in the last 5 years where it went off the map and then returned to high-end value. That doesn't happen otherwise.
You think Miles Sanders' value hasn't gone up after this past year?
It's gone up, but it hasn't returned. Miles Sanders is not RB9.
No, but I mean,
Miles Sanders, and not really. Miles Sanders is RB24. So not really. That's what I'm saying, Hutch, is that the value, once you get this stink on you and people realize it, your value as a running back does not go back up.
A little bit, but it's not quite the same.
Saquon Barkley actually, to me, retained his value better than almost anyone. He stayed a top 12 running back despite brutal
last year in the draft.
Yeah, but that's the ADP though never dropped. Whereas Miles Sanders is, despite it, honestly, a pretty good season, has never risen. It never rose.
Yeah, that's because it's pending free agency. They think he's going to leave.
But then why isn't DeAndre Swift the same problem? DeAndre Swift is a second-round pick going into year 4 right now. That's what Miles Sanders was this year. So that's
people see the Lions offense. They think you could take some of Jamal Williams' touches. He got 17 touchdowns.
Yeah, but like I said,
I'm just saying that's what they think. I don't agree.
I know, but that's not reality. Why would it change?
that college
That's
tape
the
is
thing they can
nasty,
never
though.
answer. There's never any answer to. It's always, it might change, but in this situation, no one can ever tell me why it's going to change.
Not too many running backs get the targets he does. And if he plays a 17-game season, he's probably
I'm not that
gonna be a
impressed, honestly.
top 12 running back, So
70, 5 targets a game. That's not, I'm not dying for it.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just
12
not.
targets in a game, but you got to mention that a lot of these games he was coming back from injury, right? He was, I think we realized that he was.
So he had
building to
5
something.
targets a game this year instead of 6 last year. That's
That's
good,
for a
but I'm not
running back.
dying
It's
for
really
it.
good. Yeah,
Not
not many
dying for
running
it.
backs are getting 6 targets a game.
No, but 6 targets a game and only 11 carries a game, which we had in 2021, is not that. If that's what he were doing every year, maybe RB9, but that's 1 out of 3 years, and the most recent one was not good.
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
okay.
if he's not going to get those goal line carries, if Jamal Williams is back, it definitely is the biggest knock to him for sure.
Yeah. I love how we had the 2 most delusional ADPs.
Because people are quite wondering. They're like, what's going on here? Yeah. What should I think about this?
Well, that's why DLF ADP is good, because I think it does have a good gauge on the market, and sometimes the market is a disaster. I mean, it's getting smarter, but there's sometimes some still big problems. I appreciate this. I appreciate that. Oh, yeah, nice.
Boo.
Go Chiefs.
No.
Yeah, you're not in friendly
No,
country.
You're not in the right place. You're not in the right place here. We
RB
both
Dogs
Eagles
win
fans
faster.
here.
I think they're going to win.
I think the Chiefs are going to win also.
I need a new cup. I need a new cup.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know
Is
if I
that the
can.
only cup you own?
No, what?
That's the only.
I need another one. I drink out of one cup, dude.
Oh my god.
It should be a good game though, regardless.
Don't give me any ideas about one cup. Let's not go there.
No, bad,
Um,
bad.
We got 4
Move on.
guys.
What? What are you talking about?
Let's go. Ramondre and Bateman, 1 of 10.
Okay. So in this one, let's take a look. Given this context, it's super flex. So, in this case,
super.
I actually think. I mean, I'd rather have the 105 over Ramondre.
Yes, definitely.
Um,
105 is the most valuable thing in this trade.
Yes.
It is. Ramondre, the 105 is the most valuable piece of this trade.
It's
Which
tough.
makes it
Yeah.
interesting.
I mean, I'm going to get something at the 105 that I'm going to like a lot better than anything on the other side, but I'd probably lean that side. It's close.
It's
The
a really
105
close.
I'd rather have, yeah.
Rather
I
rather
need
have
a-
Judy than Bateman.
Yeah, for sure.
I have a lot less hope for Jerry Jeudy here. I know Sean. I know
Why?
Peyton just got signed. I know Peyton, the new coach, just got signed in, but I have a lot less hope for Jeudy. I just don't. I don't know. I don't have a lot of hope for him. Watching after what he's done for 3 years, and I actually have a decent amount of hope for Bateman still a little bit.
I have
still
no
have a
hope
little
for
bit of hope
Bateman.
I still
Not
have a
at
little bit left.
No,
I
Bateman's
knew
been
offensive
overrated.
coordinator
I
and
think
might
enough
help,
practice for him.
but he himself probably is a little overvalued now that I was looking at rankings. But
He was actually a
I
lot
think
better this last year
there's
than I
hope
thought he
for
was.
Bateman.
Jeudy?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jeudy was better this year than I thought he was as well. But man, it is a really tough trade. I'm definitely tilting here with this. Because the 105 and the
end of the
110,
day-
there's a big because the 105 and the 110, because usually like when we're looking at this draft of the 1.5, you're probably looking at like a stud player. You're probably in a super flex league. I'm assuming looking at it's a super flex league.
It's definitely super flex.
Look at
Yeah,
he's considering Gibbs or
JSN.
Levis. He's considering Gibbs or Levis at that pick. So it's definitely a super flex. 1.5, I feel like you're getting like a stud player. There's probably a stud wide receiver or a stud running
You're
back.
probably
or a
either
really
getting
solid
Gibbs
quarterback on the
or
board.
your choice of the wide receivers.
Yes, that's probably what you're getting. And at the 110, I feel like there's a big teardrop there. I feel like there's going to be a significant teardrop between the 1.5 and the 110 in this rookie draft. So
I could
that's
agree with
really,
that.
really close.
I
And
have it at 7 right now with the teardrop.
I'm still deciding, but
yeah, I think it's
I-
going to be around 6 or 7 there with a big teardrop. So I think I'm gonna slightly lean with Tyler Jeudy in the 1.5, even though I'm not super hopeful in Jeudy, but that 1.5 and 1.10, that teardrop is very significant. And I love this class. I think this is a great class with a lot of talented players.
I agree.
I think the overall value is extremely even for both these sides. I'd rather have Judy in the 105. for everything said so far.
Ryan.
Hey.
And yes, I do
People
know
really
Judy had a
talking
high
about
ankle sprain last year. It did really hurt his season. I do know
Yeah.
that. Someone who commented that. I do know.
I'm sure we'll talk about Sean Payton a little bit, but I don't think he's
Yeah.
necessarily the savior the Broncos are looking for. But
Yeah, I feel like it's a bit of a desperate move with what they did. I feel like they're just trying to just do anything they can to make it better.
But having
I feel
said
like
that,
they're really desperate.
Judy should have a really good season next year. I would assume.
I'm hoping, but I'm not sure I believe in Russ anymore.
No, I don't. But I still think Judy will have a better season than he did this year, as long as he stays healthy. And that's the key with so many people out there, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, I'd rather have Gibbs over Levis. Levis.
Yes, 100%. That's not even close for me.
Will Levis is
Personally.
just
At this point,
feels like
For
Zach
sure.
Wilson all over again, kind of, doesn't it?
A little
Like
bit.
it has that stench to it. I know there's rumors around about Will Levis not being good because he's not really good, but if you take him at 105, that's how you end up with dynasty orphan teams.
Yep.
If you take him over
Zach
Gibbs or one of
Wilson.
the wide receivers,
Zach Wilson is such a,
Oh man.
good
Will Levis,
example
man.
of what not to do.
It's funny because I sit here and slander Will Levis, but I'm taking Will Levis 101 bets as we speak.
Oh no.
Oh.
I think there's
I
a good
think-
chance he's
There-
drafted ahead of either Bryce Young.
Don't
or
say
CJ Stroud.
that. Don't say
Yeah,
that.
it's definitely possible. It's definitely possible. I think,
Ridiculous.
but at this spot, you're definitely taking Gibbs, right? I mean,
Of course, between those two, of course.
I don't think there's any world where Gibbs is not drafted over Levis.
If Levis is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL draft, though, his ADP is going to be
He's
crazy.
101.
He'll be top 5, I bet.
No, I would take
In
Gibbs
Dynasty.
101.
No, I would too. I would too. I'm just saying what I think the DLF Dynasty ADP rookie drafts will look like if that's the case.
Give the people at DLF more credit.
Well,
Yes.
I'm just telling you.
Let's see. 1 QB dynasty, start 8, which I do prefer. 101, well, that's a good start. Or,
Yes.
Yeah, that's a
well, that's
lot.
a lot. Okay.
a
103,
hefty-
24
my
first, and
goodness.
Ramondre Stevenson.
Oh man.
Well, it's
I'll
putting
take
you
the
to the
package.
test, I suppose.
I'll take the
Yeah.
package.
So would you rather, essentially, I mean, Bijan will be the 101. So the 103 would be probably, Gibbs will probably be 102 and 1 QB. So it's probably your choice of the wide receivers.
Yep.
A 24 first,
Yep.
and Ramondre Stevenson.
And given that
Or-
this side 2 has the 103, you're probably looking at early to mid first next year, unless this team gets really
Yeah,
lucky.
well, it could be someone else's 24.
It could be
It
saying
could be, yeah. It's
Yeah, so
possible.
we don't
it
know.
could be. We don't know, but I would guess that it's their 2024 first, but I have no idea. And I think that's I love Bijan, but I think I want side 2 here. I feel like that's a lot.
I think
That's
I have
a
to.
lot of value.
Yeah,
You have
I'll take
to.
this package.
That's so much value.
Yeah, I think I have
Like-
to do that.
It's just
Yeah.
it's crazy.
if you are one piece away, I'd go for side 1, 100%. If you're
Really?
if you're one piece away, I this would be my chip shove with like poker. I go in for Bijan.
I'll play
No
some
matter
So
what.
my
poker.
question for you is, I love poker. I absolutely love poker, by the way, guys. But my question for you is, like, how do you feel about Ramondre Stevenson going into next season? Do you think he's going to be ranked as like a top 10 running back? Like, if he's alone, I think so. So if you're
I
one
think
piece
that's
away,
fair.
like Ramondre Stevenson might be able to fill that, and then you get that 103, that wide receiver. I know what you're saying.
I can't pay this much
understand that.
anyway. I just
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially not knowing the landing spot yet, because that is going to
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
know the landing spot of Bijan. Like if he lands in
Yeah.
he lands in a bad spot, his value, the value could decrease. I mean, obviously he's going to be on draft day. He's going to be so valuable. Like everyone's going to want to try to trade for him. But yeah, I would definitely take side 2 here. The package is it's just
Too much.
excessive.
It's too much.
Yeah.
It's fair.
Ed. I love Ed. Ed's one of the best.
What's up?
Yeah. I like that too.
Let's see. Traded Waddle in the 202 for the 101. That's probably a little excessive, honestly. I'm not sure there's a 202 difference between Waddle and Bijan.
No, I don't think so.
It's a little
No.
excessive. It's not the worst thing I've ever
It's
seen.
The 101 definitely has more value than Waddle, I would say, at
Absolutely.
this point, but
Yeah.
not. Yeah,
When you're reading off his team, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
He needs a quarterback.
And
Chase Jefferson Lamb. the
Yeah,
top
I
3
get
wide
it. I
receivers.
get it.
yeah,
I get it.
You're fine.
It's kind of
Yeah,
Cody's
I
103,
really, I
guys.
There are
really
worse.
Never
There are
mind.
worse things. You know?
Great
Get rid of
trade,
Trey
man.
Lance, by the
Great
way.
trade.
You have Trey Lance on your team.
Yeah,
Get
I
rid
would-
of Trey
we
Lance.
can work
Let's
on
do
that.
Get rid of him. Get him out of
All right,
that. Get him out of
let's
there.
keep going.
But yeah, that's
We have more than 6 months to set our roster. Yes, that's
I'm
why we.
still working on
That's
it.
why we go after value.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Changing my roster lineup
Proud of you,
like
baby.
all the time in my leagues.
Go Birds.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
Not for me as a Giants fan. I'll be rooting for the Chiefs. Let's see. Glad someone else. Well, I don't know if I'm psyched about Sean Tucker, but if he gets the draft capital, I'd be psyched about him. If he doesn't get the draft capital, then I'm not going to be psyched.
It really all depends about the draft capital. For him.
Yeah, he's
It really
kind of
is.
up in the air.
Mhm.
How do I feel about? I got to get this is a pronunciation I've been working on because I've heard it so many times on other people's podcasts. Yeah, Israel Abanikanda.
That's how.
Abanikanda.
That's
I
how
think
I was
Israel
trying to
was
say
good.
it. That's how I
Okay.
was trying to say it.
Abanikanda. How do I feel about him? To be honest, he's a little bit lower on the list for me, but I do like that he's so young. He's not even going to turn 21 until the season. So for someone like that, I'm always going to be a little bit biased towards someone who's giving me a few extra years, especially for a running back.
Kind of like how Brees Hall was last year.
Brees Hall was very young as well.
So young. He like just turned 21 right before the draft. And
Correct.
Like, that
Yeah.
was awesome.
So
And I don't want to compare this guy to Brees Hall, but he could run a really fast.
Yeah, we
40
can't
too.
compare anyone.
No.
No, I knew you weren't saying that.
I'm not comparing him to Brees.
I was
Hall,
saying
but-
for myself.
think-
I was just saying I think Israel might run a really
Let's-
fast 40 like Brees Hall. Like
For
Yeah.
me,
not the same,
I
not
think
the
Yeah,
same.
he's quick.
this is a kind of player. For me, the top players, I think I can give a good opinion. I mean, I can give an opinion on Bijan Robinson and Jordan Addison, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Bryce Young, CJ Stroud. For someone like this, I don't know. I mean, this is someone who, as the process moves, we could be looking at as a day 2 pick, or this is someone who could not be drafted. I mean, there's a lot of time in the process, so we'll have to see.
Remember,
Don't
like
love the
Kyron
combine,
Williams, people
but-
were thinking he could be up there.
Yeah, Kyron
and then
Williams went from like a surefire second round, late
Yeah.
He ran like
round
a
pick, early
20
third
second-
to
I
fifth,
believe it's like a
irrelevant.
20-second 40. Is that what he ran?
God.
The combine's
he's
gonna
got-
matter for
Yeah.
that. For
Yeah.
Israel.
Let's see.
Or
Let's
too early for.
grade this trade. And we'll try to move through the trade grades a little faster.
Whoa.
Just so we get to as many questions as we possibly can. 101 and 103. That's a lot. For Fields, Devonta Smith, 204 and 24 third.
Wow. Wow.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Huge. Okay, so I
Uh,
mean, Fields in 101 in a super flex league. Like, what
They're
are you
almost
looking
they're
at
very
there?
similar to me.
I agree. I think they're in a very, very similar tier. I
I'd rather
think
have Fields by a hair.
Ooh, that's tough for me. It's tough for me because I still think there is like the tiniest chance in the world that the Bears maybe trade him or draft a quarterback in front of him. I think that's the tiniest chance in the world that might happen. So I think I'd take Bijan by a hair, but I think they're in the same tier. So then we're looking at 103.
Well, if they do that,
Or
they trade
Devontae-
Fields, and you might be in a better situation, right?
He could be, yeah,
Right.
but he could be, but that it could really change him a lot. But so then 103 for Smith, 204 and 24 third.
That's about right.
I think that
That's
I mean
about
if I
right.
saw that in my league, I'd be like, oh, that's a pretty good trade. I mean,
Yeah,
I
I'd
wouldn't
be like, good job, boys. Good job.
Yeah,
guys."
I would be
Yeah,
fair,
that's
right?
probably going to end up being CJ
Yeah.
Stroud for that, which is
Yeah.
about right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You getting some guaranteed.
Let me just say
assets.
this.
I
Let me
mean, I
just
know
say this,
Bijan's
and then we
some
can. I think we
big
can move
guaranteed.
on to the next one. For this one, I think just when I fall back on it, if you're trading the 101, I want to get an overpay, and this isn't an overpay.
That is true.
I like,
Yeah.
Good
I like
point,
this one
because
better.
he.
I like that. I like that. What you
Let's
said there.
let's look at this one. For this one, I like this one better. I like this one
Yeah.
better. I'd rather have Kyler. Yeah, I'd rather have Kyler over
I'll
the
take
102, I guess.
I'll take Kyler and Olave over the. both
And
the
I'd rather
yeah,
have Olave
matched up.
over the 104. This honestly
Yeah.
is close too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is. It
Close
is.
too. This is also very
again.
close.
See this in my league, right? Hutch? Good job.
Yep.
This is the easy one.
Yeah.
This is the easy one, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Jalen Hurts easily. This
Yeah,
one's
it
not
is. Yeah.
That one's
come
not
on.
close.
Nothing
Yeah.
premium.
No.
How many did you have every pick, Scuba Steve?
Yeah. What the? Yeah,
But
what the-
Potentially,
this one
yeah. No,
meeting?
it
Oh,
seems
wait.
that way.
Trade
And
the
then you just
101,
built yourself
103,
a
104, 5.
beautiful young team.
He had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, and 8.
These
and
could be
the
different
4 as
leagues.
well.
These could be
They
different.
be.
probably are different leagues, but I want to think that
That'd be
they haven't
awesome.
overlapped yet.
Oh my goodness, that'd be so great.
If it's the same league,
Oh my goodness.
We'll need him to confirm or deny that in the comments down below.
I like
Yeah.
the second one top of Hurts.
I know.
Hurts.
Yeah,
I feel
even-
better for Gabe
yeah.
Davis and best ball. Yeah, but I don't really want him anyway.
Definitely. Definitely feel
let's-
better about him.
Yeah.
I hate.
All right,
I love when people use best ball as an excuse to draft bad players that might have a
I know.
good game every once in
I
a
know.
while.
It's
It
a pet
happens
peeve
all
of
the
mine.
time.
It should not
It's
raise
a
I'm
pet
not
peeve
him.
of
saying-
mine. Absolutely.
I'm not saying
Still
he's-
not even raising him 15
Yeah.
spots, but I do
Bro
like him
Calder.
better best ball.
Let's move
Yeah.
on to this one.
because it had
Any
big
advice
Let's go.
for league? Well, so this is a deep league. 2 RB, 2 wide receiver, 4 flex.
Ooh.
Thinking about trading 110 and 111 for a solid wide receiver. I'm
Okay.
fine with that, but it depends on what wide receiver it is.
Obviously.
Yeah. So I mean, if you could get DK Metcalf for that, I would do it. But that's the
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
guy I'm looking for if I'm trading those
Yeah, I
both
think
of
that's
those
a-
picks together.
It's a solid look.
Yeah.
I mean,
But yeah,
looking at-
let's move
You're
on.
probably not getting a Garrett Wilson, huh?
No, of course not. Let's
No.
move on.
I would love to do
Uh,
that. You can't do that.
Thanks for coming on, guys. Bored without fantasy. Yeah, this is the quietest part of the year, I feel, for fantasy.
But
I
there
don't
is
know
no
what to do with
off-season
my
in
phone.
Dynasty.
Like when I'm looking around my phone, I always am like looking all over my fantasy leagues, and whenever the season ends, I'm just like, what do I don't know. What
This
to
is
do.
the quietest part of the year for sure. But I
Yeah.
think it's okay. There's still things you can do. A
I've been-
startup.
I've been doing some DFS stuff, so I'm looking at my phone a lot
Yeah,
too.
I don't
Yeah.
do DFS.
I love
I do,
DFS.
but like that's closer. That's weekend stuff, you know.
Yeah. Gabe doesn't catch the ball very well. I could go for that. I mean, his catch rate is always terrible, despite playing with a good
Yeah.
quarterback. So that's fair. Looking to move Jacobs. Well,
I think it's
I would want a lot in return. Yeah, I have him very high, like very high. Maybe it's too high. I don't know. This rank seems
Where do you
a
got
little- Oh, I mean, I have him. We're asking for a pick return. I mean, I have him as like a little bit under the 102 in 1 QB, which seems insane.
that is high. I would
Yeah,
be
that seems maybe a little bit much.
yeah,
But
maybe a little bit.
I don't know. I mean, he was
Well, for a
workhorse all
competing
year.
team, like maybe is that valuable?
If you were able to get that, I would definitely take it. If you were able to get like the 102 or 103 in a super flex league, I would take that.
Yeah, I think.
I just Steer Stroud or Jamar Gibbs, I would take that.
Yeah, I think that you're not going to get the pick. That's fair. I think a better
probably.
tack is to look at a wide receiver.
Mhm.
Like, can you get Drake London? Let's say was a little disappointing. Could you get Drake London plus for Jacobs in some leagues potentially? People were disappointed with Drake London at the end of the year. That might be something I could look to do. That would probably be my first try.
What about Devonta Smith?
That would be the second try. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm
Been
not-
enjoying
I'm
this for several months. Enjoy the edge. I feel Tyler brings these chats. Is that edge as in I give you an edge over your competition? Or what I think it is, the edge that I have as a person?
I think he means both. I think he means both.
I think he means the second one.
Yeah.
But even if it's that one, I still appreciate it. Yeah, I will say I definitely, I just say whatever at this point. Like, it is what it is. I say however I feel. If people don't like it, they don't like it. I just,
And
I
I'm
wanna
here to
get to
let
a-
you know when you're wrong.
yeah, sure. I just want to get to a
I'm
point
sorry.
where I actually enjoy doing this, because it was definitely did not enjoy the last month and a half that I did before we're coming back now.
How's tonight
So,
going?
I'd say it's going pretty well. I think 7:30 is the right time. I think it was tough when we started at 9. I think that was just kind of late for me. I started running out of gas around 10. I think starting at 6:30 was just too early. I think starting at 7:30 is the right time. We did one show at 7:30 during that kind of crazy hectic part at the end of the season. That was the most viewed show that we all did together. And this is in line with what
Oh
we had
my goodness!
on that
I
show.
scrolled down. Those all were Scuba. That was one team for Scuba Steve. That was one team.
Oh my gosh.
that's badass,
Oh,
man.
yes.
I mean, that would have been
Yes.
also cool to have those picks up until the draft, but I
Um,
love what you did.
And I also
Yeah,
want to
that's
thank
fun.
I want to thank Ken Moody for helping me get the SEO done on this
Moody.
video. And then I forget. I think Justin Wright did it, but it might have been. I think he did it, but Addison also. Addison also contributed.
Great names,
as he always contributes to everything on the channel.
Yeah.
He contributed the thumbnail and potentially did some other things. And then I also want to thank the people who run the DLF Twitter account, Eric, and is there another one who runs it? I know Eric and Eric pair up on that, but there might be another person who has access to that. But the people who are doing that, helping promote the show. So just want to thank everyone, because there's a lot that goes into making this YouTube channel happen that isn't, it's nothing to do with me. And, it's very important to have this video and other videos go up and get promoted and all of that. So I just want to thank everyone who's supported me at DLF, because I know I definitely am not always the easiest person to work with. So I just appreciate everyone sticking with me there. Yeah, no, I agree with that. It is the down time of the year, but also it can be a good time of the year, actually. The audience on my own channel has actually been up versus during the season, because I think there's less competition. There's less people doing shows. So, and the big shows are not doing as many shows. So there's more room in the market for shows like this, my channel, and stuff like that.
People want to fill that football void.
Because some people want, there are a lot of people who want, this is Dynasty League football, Dynasty football.
Mm-hmm.
People play Dynasty year round. They want content year round.
Yeah.
So sometimes it actually helps when it's kind of more of an off time, because there's less competition. Lamar Fields, 6-point passing touchdown. I don't know if that changes anything.
Lamar for me.
I have Fields.
It's a relatively easily a Lamar for me, actually. I mean, not
you're
a
biased
Ravens. Kind of they're in the same tier.
If I were on the genuinely, if I were on the I'm imagining with this, I'm on the clock in a startup draft, and I got the 107 or whatever, and I'm looking between these two guys, I think I'd take Fields with the question marks around Lamar where he could be traded, and with Fields, I think I want Fields.
But I probably won't have any of them, because in Superflex they're going at 6th and 7th overall. Lamar's going ahead, and I have Lawrence.
Yes,
ahead, and also Justin Jefferson ahead.
I was just about to say I'd rather have Trevor Lawrence than both these guys.
Yeah, I also have Justin Jefferson ahead, so
That's
I'm not going to have any of these guys.
I'd rather have Jefferson too.
If I have Lawrence and Jefferson, I also have Chase ahead of both, so I'm not going to have any of Lamar or Fields in startups.
Lamar's going to have a good season next year.
I didn't say he would have a bad season.
Yeah, no, I'm just I really am excited with that.
I hate him so much that I have him ranked 10th overall in Superflex. That's how much I hate him.
Yeah, I don't think you hate him at all.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But at that stage, considering that I have Lawrence and Fields ahead of him, and also Jefferson ahead, I won't have any Lamar.
Yeah.
Welcome back. Yeah, no, I'm glad to be back. I do, like I said, I think the 7:30 time is the best, and I think we're gonna go with that going forward. Now is the time to hype and pretend like you were reluctantly trading Lance. Yeah, I would look to move Lance now, but I think we talked about.
Yes, we did.
I thought we talked about that. And to answer this question very quickly, just because it's on the same topic, after the injury, I have Purdy as equivalent in value to the 208 in Superflex. Injury's pretty bad. It really hit him. It was high. It was a lot higher than that.
Yeah, this injury is not good.
Because now I think it's really opened the door. The injury opened the door to having a possibility of a starter that's not Purdy or Lance, which I don't think the door was really open on that pre-injury. Let's see. Can Rodgers get? Oh my God. Can Rodgers get used to the big city after so many years in the mountains with that dartboard accuracy? Well, that's a very interesting take on the situation. We'll have to see. If someone offered me 111 for my Lance, I'd jump on it, but I suck so far.
No, Steve, you're just improving. You're learning.
You're improving.
You're
I don't want to say that you suck.
Remember,
no.
I told that Eli Manning story on your channel, how I started a Superflex league with only Eli Manning in his last year. Yeah, that went well. You're learning.
I'm sure the rest of your team looked good after the draft.
Joe Mixon, Cooper Kupp were on it. That's all I remember.
Yeah.
And I traded them for Carson Wentz, which was another bad move.
It's easy to understand Lance. If you bought him, you're holding because you haven't seen anything that feels like a sell signal. Well, I feel like there have been a lot of things that feel like a sell signal, but I think we've talked enough about the 49ers quarterback. So I think we'll move on to Hollywood Brown. Yes, let's move on to Hollywood Brown. I feel like has he kind of been like not in the discussion? Like I feel like I haven't been asked about Hollywood Brown. People haven't
No,
talked
his
about
name
Hollywood
has
Brown.
yeah, his name hasn't been out there. It's been very quiet with him. And
Let's
I think he's interesting because DeAndre Hopkins obviously is someone that could be traded this offseason. The Cardinals,
I think he will be.
2023 is going to be a throwaway year for them with Kyler's injury. I think this is a big opportunity for them to get rid of a lot of veteran players with big-time contracts, players like James Conner, DeAndre Hopkins is one of them. They got some guys on defense as well that they could get rid of this season. And I think DeAndre Hopkins is definitely going to be one of those big names that is on the trade market, and I think he's going to be traded away, and that leaves Hollywood Brown with a big opportunity in this offense to be the number one wide receiver for Kyler, or it might not be Kyler Murray starting the season, but for the Cardinals this year. And I think that's a really good player to have, given that their defense isn't the best. They're likely not going to be so good, which means they're going to be throwing the ball a decent amount. So I think Hollywood is definitely a bit undervalued in Dynasty. But I also want to give a shout out to someone I think hasn't been talked about at all either, is Rondale Moore. Because I think if DeAndre Hopkins gets traded away, like, I feel like Rondale Moore's value is going to, like, the Rondale Moore truthers are going to come out and they're going to go crazy and his value is going to significantly rise. So I think Rondale Moore is a good player to buy now before that Hopkins trade comes along, because he's had some good flashes. He's shown fantasy relevance. I think that he could continue to show that with DeAndre Hopkins gone. So I would be looking to buy both Cardinals wide receivers. What do you guys think about that?
I don't know about that.
No? You don't
No,
know,
I don't think so. I mean,
Moore?
considering that Greg Dortch just stepped in and played the exact same role just as well, I don't think I'm that interested in Rondale Moore. I mean, I'm not uninterested, but I'm not dying for him. He's just okay.
Yeah, but even if you don't like him, I still think it's a good opportunity to potentially buy him, because when Hopkins gets traded away, Rondale Moore's value is going to be at a point where it could be.
That I'm fine with.
It could be
that
great
I'm fine
to sell.
with. Yeah, that I'm fine with. I don't mind that.
Yeah.
So what would you be willing to pay right now, like in terms of a draft, like a late second or like an early second?
That's what I would look to buy for. Yeah, like a late mid second. If I could get it for that, I would do it.
I'm good.
I think I'm fine with giving up a late second for Rondale Moore.
Yeah,
I would rather give a third if I could, 2/3 maybe.
I don't think people are going to go for a third.
Yeah,
and I just won't have him, I suppose.
I would give up a late second in a heartbeat for him.
Okay.
I just think that if they trade DeAndre Hopkins away, though, they could bring in someone else, and they'll return draft capital, which they could then use to bring in someone else. So
yeah,
but Hollywood Brown.
In the trade, people aren't going to be thinking about that. People are going to be thinking about Rondale Moore being more involved in this offense.
People will be thinking about that, but I think that Hollywood Brown would be the real beneficiary more so.
Big brain by Trey McBride.
Oh,
there you go.
That's interesting. Zach Ertz's injury. That's interesting. That's a good.
Zach Ertz, I think, is done. I mean, I'm not counting on Zach Ertz really at all.
He'll get in the way enough to be disappointed with Trey McBride.
We'll have to see. He has to come back to being healthy. I mean, it's a devastating injury considering that he's 32 already.
He's younger than Kelsey.
I'm not confident. Yeah, but Kelsey hasn't missed a game in 6 years. So
really, has he not?
That's Kelsey's been like the paragon of health.
No, that's awesome.
It is
awesome.
actually.
I wasn't sure. I didn't know that. I guess that's how you become the number one tight end like 6 years straight. Number 2 last year.
Yeah. Oh, another thing. Comments like this, when we get to that, sometimes we get to them a little bit later. We don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
So when you make like a comment, like it's okay to like rewrite the player name, because I'm not sure what this is referring.
Maybe Lance, I guess.
Honestly, I don't know.
We talked a lot about Lance.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Is 110 and 111 a fair offer in one QB for Olave? Well, it's not fair. I mean, I would much rather have Olave. Yeah, I don't think it's so fair.
My wide receiver 5.
Yeah, it's okay.
No,
that's excellent. I mean,
yeah.
He's my wide receiver 8 overall in Dynasty. So if he's gonna be your wide receiver 5, you're doing pretty well. Mm-hmm. And you have the 101 too. Great, you're doing well.
8? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But the point is that I would much rather have Olave over those 2 picks.
Yes, I would as well.
Do you have him from like T. Higgins?
I do.
I'm trying to figure out like who I'm missing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is wild. This comment to me.
This one?
moving to Superflex in 2025.
I always say just start a new Superflex league. Okay? There's no good way to transition.
Someone's gonna be angry. I'm sure someone's
gonna be angry no matter how you do it. Someone
in that group chat is
of course.
with Daniel
But
Jones.
yeah, I mean, I would consider acquiring quarterbacks. You might want to pick one at 103. I would assume that would be a move you could do. But yeah, depending on where they fall in the draft, yeah, I mean, in this kind of format, I would consider spending like the 112 on. If you're gonna have to wait 2 years for it, I consider spending the 112 on like Will Levis. But
he's only allowed to carry 2. Is that what I'm reading?
Bizarre. Yeah, I'm a little confused here.
Currently, we're allowed to carry.
To answer your question, yeah, I think you.
I'm a little confused.
Hang on to those quarterbacks and just try to package some of those picks together. I would say, all the top tier skill positions. I guess it's a way to like stop people from being a-holes about keeping all the quarterbacks when they're moving to 2025. I don't know. I don't know.
I agree with Tyler's first comment. Just delete the league and switch to Superflex.
Yeah. That sums it up well, honestly.
I think that's the best.
I'm tired of 1 QB Dynasty. I can't play 1
QB Dynasty is not.
I can't anymore.
No.
Also, I think this is hilarious.
There's still.
I think this is hilarious. This duo of comments. Yeah, I think Dylan might be new to this.
Yeah,
this is. I've been hearing this. I've been hearing this for like since I started doing recorded content. Yeah, I'm loud and I talk over people. But at the end of the day, this is my show. So it's
Tyler's return. All right,
this is my show. Like especially now, like after Cal and Addison left, like this is my show. So. At the end of the day, and then when I'm on my channel, it's my channel. So, yes, we probably are not going to get 25% of each co-host, but that isn't. I've never claimed that that's what the show is going to be, and I don't. I'm okay with that. But I do try. I've tried to do better of not interrupting people in the middle of sentences, but I know that. Promising that that's going to end would just be lying to the audience. We know that that's never. The three of you have recorded with me for years. I mean, maybe not Josh for years, but many times.
It's probably like coming on like 2 years now, like since we first recorded.
That's true. We did that one show back in the day, but yeah, like I definitely am someone who interrupts and does that. But if you go listen to my appearance on the Crossroads, the one I recorded with Peter Howard, who's actually going to be a guest on this show next week. I just found this out like an hour ago. He'll be a guest. We're not always going to have guests on this show. I'd say half the time, maybe less. But when I was guest on that show, and I definitely I definitely act different when I'm a guest than when I'm hosting my own show. So we'll, go listen to that one.
You're not guiding everything. Obviously, there's just, it's just you're going to be given the questions more than pushing them.
Yeah, it took me like 30 minutes of that recording to get used to that.
Yeah.
No, it was honestly like an adjustment. It was the first show I'd done in a while where I wasn't some form of the host, since whatever the last show Cal did on here was. It was the first time since then that I wasn't driving the show. So it was an adjustment for sure. Okay. So, this is a roster for this question. Let's see. Oh, okay. That doesn't change my answer.
Delete the league.
Yeah. I mean, yes. I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair. I think Olave clears.
It's definitely a fair offer. If I saw it go through in a league,
I'm just saying I don't think it's
I wouldn't
fair.
be upset. I wouldn't be upset about it going.
I mean, I'm not going to get upset.
Yeah, I'd be like, okay.
That's a very high bar for me to get upset. But I don't think it's very fair. It's a smash except for Olave for me. So if it's
if I saw that in my DMs, hey, I'll give you Olave for the 110, 111.
I would hit accept, right?
Boom,
yeah, immediately.
I mean, actually, no. Never do that in Dynasty. Always try to get more if you can.
Always
no.
Slippery slope. I've tried.
There is a level where the offer is too good. Then I'm just no. I can't let that go. I can't.
They start thinking about it.
Obviously, sometime, but usually in a Dynasty league, I mean, I usually play with like other analysts and stuff, so I'm not usually getting offers where it's like, no, I have to accept this. I'm usually not getting those type of offers. Sometimes it's like offer, I'm like, ooh, I would accept that, but let's see if I can get a little bit more.
Yeah.
If they're willing to offer that, maybe they're willing to compromise with me, give me a little bit more. So that you always want to do that in Dynasty, unless it's like literally a situation where like, oh my gosh, if I don't accept this, I'm going to die. Like, but you don't see those offers very often, like ever.
Okay. Jamar Chase for 101 and 24 first. I think I'd rather have Bijan and the 24 first. That's too much to add.
Yes.
It's too much.
Yeah.
Yes,
To
but
add
yeah,
to Bijan.
Because it's like
easily. Yeah. There's not a decision.
You're adding like a few picks in a super flex startup for the full 2024 first. Like, do you think Bijan and Jamar like in the same tier, like in a startup draft?
Yeah, I would say
they're both first round picks, probably, right?
Yeah,
I don't know if that makes them in the same tier.
Honestly,
I'm putting Jamar
in a super flex
higher than Bijan.
I think you have to even think about.
Yes, I put Jamar higher than Bijan as well.
Like, I'm not even sure. Yeah. Like, would I even pay the 101 and the 24 first for Josh Allen? Like, I have to think about that. Like, would I even do? Would I pay that? Because that's saying that I would pay a 24 first to move up from like 11th overall to first overall in a startup. And honestly, most years I would not do that.
Yeah, I think it's a lot.
So, like, that's a decision. This is not a decision.
It really depends on how many teams you got in your league. Because if it's like a 14-team league, quarterbacks become a lot more valuable.
Well, but this is a 12-team league.
But this is a 12-team league. So.
But I'm just saying, like, that is a decision. That is something to think about.
Yes.
This is, for me, is not something to think about. This is easily the one it was. And I like to give that perspective because I think it's very important because there's only something is always going to be lost in the translation of a live show. But the thing that's the easiest for me to communicate with you, to those watching, is whether I really thought about it or not, or it was just easy. It was an easy decision. That one was an easy decision. Olave over 110 and 111 was an easy decision. But sometimes there are ones where you have to think about it and reason it out. And that is a very good gauge of how close the offer actually is, if you have to think about it. It's the easiest thing for me to communicate on a live show. It's hard. It's hard for me to give exact values or go to the trade analyzer on a live show. Let's see. Was offered. What? Was offered. This can't be right. Was offered Murray and the 101 for Hurts?
Murray and the 101.
Murray and the 101. Yeah, that's an easy one.
What?
Yeah, I do like to hear myself talk.
That's one of those offers where you don't counter. You immediately accept that.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Don't even try. Just that is a like.
I have a confession to make. I think most longtime viewers do already know this, but I listen to all of my own shows, and I love listening to my own shows. So yes, absolutely.
Part of being better.
Look, that's true. Honestly, I just enjoy it. But
I listen to my own shows, but usually I just tell myself how stupid I am and not.
Oh, see, that's
what I am.
For me. It's
that's usually how
not
I
that
do.
experience.
I'm like, why'd you say that?
Oh no,
I usually feel pretty good listening back to what I say.
I usually feel really good. Like usually I see like, oh, I like that take. That take was pretty good, or like whatever. But yes,
there'll be one thing you'll be upset about, and it just takes over everything else.
One time I just stuttered weird or said like stupid. It's like I phrased my words so weird. I'm like, what the hell were you thinking? Like, what on earth were you
never had that experience.
I like that you're leaving this comment up.
Oh well, it's so true. I mean, I have no chill. But this is really me. You know, if you met me in real life, this is really the person I am. Like, this is honestly, I think on this show, it is a good representation of the me that I really am. If anything, in real life, I'm more this person, more extreme, loud person, more that. If anything, I scale it. I try my hardest to pull it back in a little bit for the show. So it's definitely not that this is a character. It's the other way around. I can tell you. And my friends who have tuned into this show and I've seen their comments can definitely confirm that that's the case. Let's see. Fournette worth a late second. Oof. Oh, man. I think Fournette is just finished.
He probably is in the context of things, but I don't want Fournette.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't want Fournette.
I don't think he's worth the late second anymore.
Yeah, no, but like, what player are you getting in the late second? Like what kind of like?
Yeah.
It's like we've
Something that
talked.
might win.
I think we talked about it on the show. Like when we look at when you look back the last few years of drafts, like there is a clear drop off in the mid-second round, especially last year. Oh my gosh, after the mid-second last year, it was a
I'm
disaster.
just good on Fournette.
Like,
But you could have gotten someone, Damian Pierce, Tyler Algier. You know?
could have. That was more like the mid-early.
I'm not saying they're
like,
great. I'm not saying they're great. Yeah.
When you look at like Zamir White, Jalen Tolbert,
Yeah,
like these guys are picked in the
I think
late
this
second.
class
It
is
was
a lot better
disaster.
than last one.
I
Last
think
year.
that's fair.
That's
I think
true.
it's fair to say. Yeah,
That's true.
I think
Yeah.
we're gonna like the second round this year a lot more than this. I think last year's class was a little shallow.
Go look at that 2020 second round. Oh, that was hot. That was
Yeah.
hot.
It is my show. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what he was saying.
It's gonna, yeah. Sanders came back up. Jacobs came back up. Well, Jacobs didn't value. Sanders did not. So
I
that's
actually
something interesting.
did look at Miles Sanders' value like earlier in the show, and I was looking on Keep Trade Cut, like it shows you like up and down or whatever how far it went, and it went up like not much at all.
Yeah.
Actually,
It's
like,
interesting
it
why
didn't go
Jacobs-
much.
Why
It went up
Jacobs-
like the value of like a third round pick
But
from
Jacobs' value
last
did,
year
though.
to this year. Jacobs'
Jacobs'
value did
value
go
did.
up. Jacobs' value did.
So it's
but
interesting why
Sanders
people
not.
feel
Yeah.
that Jacobs is going to have long-term value and they think Sanders won't. I think a lot of
If
it is
Sanders
because
gets re-signed, I think it's a different story.
Well,
I think
I
his
think
value
it's
will
also
go up
because Jacobs succeeded on a bad
I was about
team,
to say,
with
I
a
think
bad
Jacobs is
offensive
better.
line. Everything
I
was
I think he's just
bad.
better.
And
Yeah.
Sanders ran behind PFF's #1 graded offensive line in an offense that opened up like holes like the size of a Mack truck. Like I think any running back could have succeeded in that spot, whereas Jacobs beat the odds. So I think that's why. This is
That's fair.
probably true. I don't think my mom has like ever told me I'm wrong. I love you, mom.
Is that true?
I don't. It has, it's been a long time.
It's gonna-
Yeah,
good
funny.
call.
Yeah, I don't think she has. And this is so good from Ed. Ed knows me so well, I think. For
Why
someone-
would she lie?
You
Why would
lie.
I
actually
lie? This is such a good
Oh.
comment. This is such a good comment. I like
Rolling
it.
with the punches. I
Good.
love it.
Bad take? No, I don't think it's a bad take. I think the take that once a running back goes down in value,
What, they had like
you
25 years
rarely
old.
get back
Yeah.
up to a premium value.
Especially
Not that you
when they're
can't go
that
back up,
age, is what you were
But
saying.
a premium, it's a premium value. Once you go down after 2-3 years, you don't go back up to a premium. You can go back up, but Miles Sanders fell out. And even though he's had a good year, has not returned to premium value. And there's many examples of that. The issue is once you lose the premium value, it's very hard to get back there. Josh Jacobs is rare. That's the exception, not the rule. So I actually don't think it's a bad take. Of course, there are changes in value, but they mostly occur within the premium range, someone going from the bottom to the top of it, or at the lower end. Like, of course, I mean, there are many players who've had large changes rise in value. I mean, Jalen Warren came from nothing to rise up a bunch in value. I mean, there Isaiah Pacheco, same thing, but it's
Those are young
rare.
guys.
It's hard to get
Yeah.
into that premium range once you fall out of it. You don't usually get back. Josh Jacobs
Yeah,
is
it's-
rare. It's rare. So it isn't a bad take. It's just I wouldn't globalize that take to all parts of the value range, just that piece. So if you look at it that way, maybe you would say it's not as bad of a take. Maybe you would. I don't know. We can agree to disagree. Let's see. Aside from Bijan, what running back will become a substantial asset in Dynasty? I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs is the next best shot.
Yeah, definitely. Jahmyr Gibbs. is
Yeah.
next. Yep.
Everyone else
Otherwise,
is a dart throw. I mean, no, I wouldn't say dart throw, but I think there's going to be a good RB3 in this class. I just don't think we know who that is yet. There's like
We need the
5 or 6
combine.
possible candidates.
We need
For
the
that.
combine. And we
Kind of
need
like
draft
last year a
capital.
little bit with Hall and Walker being the clear top two. We had no idea who third was going to be.
Well, I
somehow
mean, Isaiah Spiller was 2 for so long.
Yeah, he was 2 for a while. I think Walker jumped above him.
Last
But
year was more that Hall was 1 and it was open season after that. This
Yeah.
year,
I love
it's-
Sean Tucker.
usually there's someone who emerges, but there's 1-2 guys at the top, and then there are others that emerges. This year, there's 2. Bijan is the clear 1. Gibbs is the clear 2. I don't think those 2 get displaced, but 3 on is open season. And there were other years. I mean, like in 2020, there were a lot of good guys, but the order they were going to go in was pretty up in the air. And in 2021, I mean, there was Najee, Etienne, and Javonte. But the order they were going to go in was still kind of up in the air for some people. So, yeah, I mean, this year I think it's Bijan 1, Gibbs 2, and then right now I have Zach Charbonnet at 3, but that's mostly because given what I've seen from the mock drafts, he's the one that I think is going to get there. That could change.
Who knows who's going to get there? Like we're so early in the process.
Oh yeah, that's why I say this early. It's my best guess. Let's see. I do not think Damian Harris is a talent upgrade over Jamal Williams. Just to be honest with you, I think Jamal Williams is better. That's not an upgrade.
Yeah, Jamal Williams will probably get more money than Damian Harris this offseason, I would assume. I could be wrong because of age. Maybe age.
Yeah. Damian Harris might get an extra year, but no, for me, Detroit, I don't think they're going to sign a free agent other than Jamal Williams. If they don't sign Jamal Williams, they'll look to the draft. They have 2 second-round picks, 49 and 56.
I thought you were saying they would sign another like big free agent like Josh Jacobs or Saquon Barkley originally, and I don't think that. Yeah, I don't think.
No, they'd go to the draft and get a cheap contract, and then they'd move on from Swift, and the new guy would be their lead. That's what they would do. That would make sense. That would be a good move. Usually, you see, typically when someone is picked as a running back and they kind of don't work out, the next running back pick is usually 3 years later. Right, so you can have that transition from the 4-year rookie contract from one guy to the next. So that's why it would make sense for them to do it this year. I just think that Jamal Williams is so popular in that locker room that I expect him to be. I really do.
Man.
I mean, they love him.
He's the guy there.
Yeah. Have a team interested in trading for Andrews and Amon-Ra in a league. I was thinking I should be asking, so for the both of them, I was thinking I should be asking for 104, 106, and 24 first. Thoughts?
I need so much more. So much more on top of those two. Talent gap.
Yeah, Amon-Ra's.
I would be looking for more as well. Yeah.
Really high.
More? I mean, how much more? Is this super flex?
That's a great question.
That's
a lot more valuable.
Makes it tougher.
I mean, it really changes that 104 and 106 for me, super flex wise, right?
That changes everything.
Yeah, and draft picks are just a lot more valuable in super flex.
Yeah. Because at 104 in a one quarterback league, you're probably getting like your second choice at wide receiver, but in this 104 in a 104 in a super flex league, you're probably getting your first choice at wide receiver, if not maybe Jahmyr Gibbs or
the second QB.
Yeah, or the second QB.
I think the lesson here is you're better off trading these assets separately over together. Yes. You usually don't get your best deal trading two studs like this together. So you usually want to trade them separately.
He's trying to acquire Andrews and Amon-Ra.
Oh, no.
Interested in trading for Andrews and
Amon-Ra. Have a team interested in trading for. So that's saying he has them. So I would. This
is what's when it's really helpful to read the whole question.
It's hard. It's hard. Reading on a live show is hard. Reading
is hard.
It is hard. No, I don't say that sarcastically. Like it is on a live show. It's hard. It's hard. A lot of people say anyone could do it, but these shows, but it's difficult. Even for me, I still, after 2 years of doing this, I still find it to be difficult. I don't find it to be easy.
I would definitely rather have Amon-Ra and Andrews.
Okay. Hold on. Do you think I could ask you a question real quick? Because I just saw this trade somewhere. I think it's actually really interesting. I just saw the 102 and the 104 in a super flex league, 12-teamer, for Dameon Pierce, Treylon Burks in the 107.
102 and 104?
102, 104 in a super flex for Dameon Pierce, Treylon Burks in the 107.
102 and 104.
Pretty easy.
I think I'd take that side as well, but it's close.
It's not close.
Dameon Pierce, Treylon Burks. I'd rather have the 102 over close. That, and then it's draft picks. Obviously, there's a higher draft pick there.
I might rather have the 102 over the 102 and is more than Burks and Pierce combined. And then I'd rather have the 104 and the 107. So it's not close at all.
Yeah.
What's Cup's value for 2023? For 2023 alone, I think I would have him as still a wide receiver 1 in redraft. I mean, probably around 5 or 6 in redraft. In Dynasty,
definitely back.
Yeah,
easy.
But in Dynasty, I have him at wide receiver.
This
17.
offense is so scary next year, man. This offense is set up to be a disaster.
If Stafford's back and healthy, I don't even care what the rest of the team looks like.
No, Cup is gonna be great.
Cooper
Kupp would be
Kupp
great.
is going to be a top
But-
3 wide receiver for me probably next.
I don't know if I can put him that high because I'm scared. I'm just like
5 or
there's
6 is good.
nobody else in this
Right.
offense. I know that means like Kupp is going to be like the primary target. Of course he is.
What do you mean?
But
Allen Robinson.
His offense is not going to move very well.
I mean, Jefferson will be 1, and then I'll probably have Chase at 2 in
Jefferson.
redraft, and then
Chase,
That's the
Lamb.
question, right?
Lamb is up there
ooh, Lamb.
for sure.
AJ Brown.
Yeah, I was about to
Yeah,
say
AJ
AJ
Brown is in
looking off the
competition.
couple of dynasty wide receivers right now.
Definitely an easy argument to that. I think you could put Kupp in a tier with those guys. I think.
But yeah, I have Cup in Dynasty at 17. So,
Oh yeah, and Dynasty
Ooh.
way lower.
Yeah,
but he is a value.
17
in,
though. That's surprising.
he's a value according to the ADPs from DLF because he was like wide receiver 24, which I still think is too low. You just ride out his career at that price.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. Yeah, that's true.
I acknowledge his comment already.
Yeah.
We were good.
Okay. Trevor Lawrence or 102, 25 first, and 25 second. Not an unreasonable return. So you're probably getting at that stage, you're getting your choice of quarterback plus 25 first and second. That's fine. I mean, given where I have the 102 rated, I'm not sure I'm adding all of this just to get up to Trevor Lawrence off of, a first in the draft, Bryce Young, which is still what I expect.
It'd be harder for me to pull a trigger in a 12-team league, but I'm going to take the package in a 10-team league.
So would I.
25 is just so far away though.
Yeah.
But there's a pro and con to that.
Well, I'll put it this way. What I'm never doing is trading the package side for Lawrence. I'll never do that. The other side maybe, but I'm never doing I'm not risking it. It's too risky. I'm not going to trade that away.
Yeah, I think
I'll say that. I'll never do
think
that.
This is tough.
Say T-Law, Hutch. Say it. Say it if you want to.
Say
I mean,
it.
it's
I
not
don't
think
think
it's that
it
crazy.
was your
Close,
chest.
It's
I don't
close.
think
I
it's that
love.
crazy, man.
I love Trevor Lawrence, man. I don't have a lot of
Yeah.
him in Dynasty. I really want him. So I love Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
It's
Same.
really tough for me. That's
I have
that's
0
very,
Trevor
very
Lawrence.
close.
0. I don't
Oh,
have him in
that
any
sucks.
leagues.
I have
I
I
good
know
will
it
trade
does.
Trevor
It
Lawrence.
does. It does.
I think I've got
I
him in
have
one
him,
league.
Ryan, I have him in that orphan that I inherited. That's how Patrick got me to take it.
Oh.
When are you didn't make any trades with me. A lot of other people did, but you were too busy. You didn't want to trade with me. That doesn't sound so good.
I was.
You guys know each
heckling
other
you-
too well.
I was heckling you for Elijah. We were going back and forth on Elijah Moore. For a
Yeah,
little
but
bit.
then I moved on to other things. I decided that since you hadn't made a trade with me about it, like after a lot of things, I became too busy. You can
It's
still
fine.
have him. He's still available.
I'll send
We'll
you an
have to
offer before the
see.
show.
We'll have to see.
I'll send you an offer before the show's over.
Do it. Maybe I'll accept it.
Ooh,
You never know.
before
Maybe
the
I'll be
show's
nice.
over. Okay.
Yeah, before the
Ooh.
show is over. That would be good. All right, a
Hmm.
super chat from Jeremy. I don't know if this is the Jeremy we know, but if it is, thank you. If it's not, thank you anyway. Let's see. Should I trade Wandale, 1 QB, Wandale Robinson, Kadarius Toney, Kirk Cousins, and picks 201 and 205 and 201 to 205
201 through 205.
Wow.
through
Yeah, that's
through.
That's what he's
Okay,
saying, right?
that's interesting.
Wild.
And 207 for 104 and 106.
I want the
Well-
4 and 6. They're easily the 2 best pieces of this
Yeah,
trade.
it's just a lot of crap for.
Yeah, it's a bunch of
Two
meh
much
for
better
2 great
things.
pieces. Yeah, that's like if you give me that offer, like 9 out of 10 times I'm gonna be taking the 2
Yeah.
best pieces. That like
It's a lot of junk. I'll just take the
exactly what it
104.
is. Yeah, 104,
I think
106.
Don't
that's
lock
a good
yourself into 3 running backs, though. I will say that
What's that?
because the end says taking 3 running backs and 1 wide receiver.
Yeah, but you could always trade the picks later.
I
you
know,
don't
I
have
just don't
to-
lock
yeah, there's a
yourself
lot
in.
of
I'm just
time.
saying.
There's a lot of time.
We're all
All
on the
right.
same page, it sounds like.
Let's
Get rid of the junk.
keep going. I think Cup is about a mid first in Superflex. Let's see. I have Cup rated at between the
that's
106
about
and the
right.
107. I wonder where Ed got that value from. Let's see. Mike Evans, 3 24 thirds, and Jamal Williams for Dallas Goddard and a 25 first.
14 people.
Well, those 3 24 thirds really make a difference, don't they?
Yes, 3.
Puts it over the
So it
top.
looks like it's a young team trying to get younger. Yeah, I'll do that trade.
I'll do that trade also. I think in no tight end premium, Goddard and Evans are similar, and I'll take
What do you think is the
the-
most valuable piece of this trade? Is it the
the
first?
25 first.
Is the first, right? Yeah, I would. So yeah, I'd take Goddard.
It's the only thing that
first.
has potential to be premium. Nothing else will be.
It's hard to
Yeah.
trade Mike Evans in Dynasty right now, especially.
I think if you want to,
no.
I think
he
this
looks
is
like
the
he's getting young.
this is the best you're gonna get. It's
Mike
this
Evans.
or nothing.
And if
Right.
Brady leaves, it's probably gonna get even
Only gonna be
worse
worse.
in
Yeah,
value.
where I agree with.
But I think honestly, if Mike Evans does get a new quarterback, I think his value could go so low to the point where he actually could be a buy.
Right?
Because we've seen him put up numbers with bad quarterbacks.
I think Mike Evans
Like-
is like close to cooked. He had,
I think he's close too. I think he's getting close, but I feel like the value could go so low to the point where it could be a buy opportunity.
Mike Evans had one good game.
in
And-
the playoffs where no one had him.
Yeah, where no one survived to that stage with him.
Yes.
Because
True.
he had half of his touchdowns in that game. It's his only double-digit receiving game, double-digit receptions, and by far the most yards he had all year was all in that one game. So he actually had a pretty good year. He was actually better. He had more receptions and more yards per game than last year. But the touchdowns weren't there. And I'm concerned that, if we can expect 77, I mean, this year it was a better year than I thought, but I just see there was a lot of passing volume to get there. Mike Evans, the player, feels like he's in decline to me. And I'm worried that
And this is the age you start worrying about that.
you
with wide
can
receivers.
Yeah.
you can wave your hand away on the decline because the numbers were still there. But I would like to sell him while that's still a debate. Because once it's not a debate, then you
Yeah.
can't sell him anymore.
Yeah, no. See, the big thing for Mike Evans this year, when you look at the stats, I mean, over the past 3 years, he's had 70, 74, and 77 receptions.
He's been very
1,006, 1,035, and 1,124 yards. This year, he had more catches and more yards than each of the past 2 years. But the big difference, last 2 years before this past year, 14 and 13 touchdowns. These year he scored 6. Because Tom Brady in those 2 years had thrown 40-plus touchdowns this year. This year only threw 25. That was the biggest piece for Mike Evans this year, and that's why he really, really was, unfortunately, not good for fantasy this year, because he wasn't getting the end zone. He wasn't getting in the end zone. He wasn't getting touchdowns. That was the big thing, because he had the yardage, he had the catches, and the touchdowns just weren't there. That's the big
The thing
thing.
that scares me is in the 7 games before that eruption, he averaged 4 catches and 48.6 yards a game and didn't score at all. The eruption happened, but I'm saying that his play over the previous 7 weeks was terrifying. He wasn't good.
It was bad. Yeah, no, in the last 6 games, he had one top 24 finish.
No, I'm not
And that
just
was a
saying
big
he
move.
was bad for fantasy. He was bad. Objectively a bad
I saw a lot of
player.
drop passes.
That dropped. I mean, he only caught
Yeah,
half. The
Just
targets.
he was
looking
looking
bad.
weird.
He was not
just
open.
yeah.
Passes were dropped. He
not
played
gonna allow
poorly
separation.
over that. Well, he never really is.
Yeah, he's not a separator. He's a jump
But-
ball guy. Right.
But he wasn't winning them. He was bad over that period of time. And then he had one really big game. So I'm scared that the 7 games that we saw were the real thing. And if that's the real thing, then it's going to be a big problem.
Yeah.
Let's see. 1 QB PPR, which side? 107, 206, 301, Duvernay, Ferguson for Amon-Ra.
Amon-Ra.
Give me Amon-Ra.
Easily.
It's
Yeah.
107 for Amon-Ra. No, I mean,
Yeah.
it's not.
So
it's
easily.
not. 206 and
No.
301 are something. Sorry. But yeah.
No,
They
it's
are,
Amon-Ra. It's Amon-Ra.
They are, but
He's-
They're there.
value of the 111
They're
in a 12-team superflex, if you're just looking for a wide receiver or just take the best available wide receiver. If you're looking to trade that straight across for a wide receiver, could you get Hollywood Brown plus with how down people are on Hollywood Brown?
I think Hollywood Brown's worth a late first, but you're saying people are down. If that's the case, maybe
Yeah.
not much plus. I doubt.
I know, but you'd get a third plus, and that's just
Yeah.
nothing to me.
Yeah.
A third is nothing to me. I don't think you'd get more. I don't think you'd get more to the point where it's that extra is actually worth something. You'd get like a
What about-
third, or like a nothing player in Dynasty. Like you.
What about like a Jamison Williams or a Pickens or something like that instead?
for the 111?
Yeah.
I would absolutely trade for one of those
Well,
two players with the
I'd love
111. I don't think you can though. I don't know if
I
someone
don't
would
think
take
you
that.
can.
No, someone
Yeah,
would take that.
Pickens,
think
I
anyone
would
take
love.
that.
Maybe
I
DJ
would love
Moore.
it. That's what I would try to target personally.
Ooh, DJ Moore would be interesting.
People are
That'd
down
be-
on DJ Moore.
I think, yeah, but I
Especially-
still think people that have him like him. You know, they're still.
It's
Yeah.
one of
Wait,
those
the
things.
quarterback.
Nah.
And the thing is, like, I talked about this. I've talked about this recently. Like, he was, like, he's not like Terry McLaurin or Deontay Johnson, where they're like 26, 27, 28 years old, where it's like they're done. Like, they're past. DJ Moore's only 25. Like, he was drafted young. I feel like people forget about that. Like, he's still only 25. He still has a lot of time. And I feel like the Panthers are going to be going after a quarterback this year. I feel like they're done with the nothing quarterback. I feel like they're done with that. I feel like they're going to get somebody, at least somebody better than
I would
Sam
hope
Darnold.
so. All right. So let's I'm going to take us into rapid fire and then we'll
All right.
close out the show. So let's see. I have a team with Andrews, Pitts, Schultz, and Ingram, which to trade and which to hold. And for what value? Well, I mean, Pitts is an obvious hold. Given,
Sell Evan Ingram.
yeah. Or
Sell
Schultz.
Evan
I'm fine
Ingram.
selling them both. Let's see here. Traded Eckler for the 205 and 24 first. If you want to trade Eckler, this is probably the best you're going to do at this point.
Yep,
So,
I think that's
I
solid.
think you did.
Good
I think
trade
you
for
did
both
well
sides,
there.
Probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very solid trade.
Yeah. 10 first. That's insane.
Picks in 2024.
5 or Drake London. Let's just get an answer from everyone.
London.
London.
London,
Just barely London.
very high on London personally.
He's got
Okay.
that
So
target.
not
there's
as
unanimous answer from
I'm
us
scared.
there, James, on Drake
scared.
London. Let's see. Ed has a lot of picks.
Yeah.
Superflex. I sent Damian Harris, Bailey Zappi, and Robert Tunyon for 208. Honestly, that's like just okay. Then I sent
yeah,
208,
I wouldn't do that.
Tyler Huntley 103 for 102. Again, like that's fine, but that's
No,
just
let's go somewhere.
if you
Let's
get
go
Bijan at 2,
No.
I get it, but it seems a little cute for me. But there are worse things you could have
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
Those
What
picks
is
are pretty
Kamara's
good.
value? I do not want Alvin Kamara. I have him in
No.
equivalent value to the
Do not want him.
Tyler hasn't wanted Kamara since before like the
Since
season
I started
started. Like,
recording.
if you've
Right.
been watching, like you know
If
that.
you can get a mid-second for him, I would absolutely take
Hutch,
that.
I heard your
heartbeat.
discussion of Kamara on your show. You said he looked bad.
He did. He looked bad.
Yeah.
He just didn't look
People
good.
should go
Yeah,
listen
yeah.
to that show. I
Efficiency
think.
continues to go down.
You did.
Yeah,
you
he didn't look
talk
good.
about it.
I did talk about Kamara a little bit. I mean, the stats weren't there as much this year. And he just didn't look good on the field. Tyler's talked about it a ton on his show as well, but he just has not looked good this year at all. And I mean, the offense is partly to blame. Like the offense was just, it was like discombobulated, and it was just a disaster.
Yeah.
Like it was a freak show. This offense this year, it was an absolute disaster. But Kamara still looked really bad, and I don't think he's anything anymore.
You can
Let's
probably
see.
still get a late first from
Let's-
someone. Steal it from
Let's
him.
go to.
You
Let's go to
can
this one.
somehow do that. Oh my goodness, yes.
Traded
100%.
Sa-
Go ahead.
Saquon, Devontae, Adams, Derek Carr, and Brandon Ayuk for Hurts, the 106, and the.
You're sure that's not Devontae
Where do
Smith?
people get these?
It doesn't matter. It's
Jesus.
Yeah.
easily.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
It doesn't
Yes.
matter. I have
Ooh, Garrett Wilson.
Garrett
and
Wilson,
Waddle.
Waddle. Okay, so these types of questions are always tough because it's like packaging for players. I always say
Yeah,
the more
it's-
specific questions, the better on a live
let's-
show.
Let's look, like who are the players that we want to sell on this roster?
Yeah,
Like, who are the
so to
players we
answer
see
that, I
top
would
five?
say
Gabe
Gabe
Davis.
Davis is
Yep.
going to be out the door. And
Yeah, I want Gabe Davis
DPJ I also
gone.
don't like.
Mhm.
I really like
Yep,
him.
get rid of
Trade
him.
Anyone after the first two?
Do we
So,
see? Yeah, never mind. Go ahead.
I would take an early second for Kamara.
Oh yeah, I would take a
Um,
mid-second.
Let's see. Yeah, no, we want value. Let's see. Okay, was offered Debo and 201 for Pierce? Confused.
Oh yeah, I'd do that. I'd give
yeah.
I'd give Pierce
Yeah.
for Debo and 201. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, I would
Yeah.
do that.
I was just a little confused by that one.
Give Pierce for
Um,
Debo.
Yeah, I know. Just traded Garrett Wilson 112 and 208 for Treylon Burks 106 and projected top 6 24 first.
Oh,
Trying to gain
man.
the leverage in the 24 class as well.
I
I
love
will
Garrett
take
Wilson. Wilson.
I love Garrett Wilson, but I'll take the other side.
Yeah,
I
he's
love
very
Garrett
solid.
Wilson, but 2 top 6 picks and Traylon Burks.
This
That's-
man Scuba Steve's like how
It's easily the
on the
Burks side.
phone.
For
That's
Burks, 106.
tough. Yeah, I would
That's,
want Burks. But I love Garrett Wilson so much. I wish I had him more in Dynasty. I only have him in one league.
Steve, what are
and
your
I'm
leagues
sad.
is active right now? You made like 8 trades this show.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
Garrett Wilson
yeah.
here,
He is.
guys.
He's
I
all
think
over.
Garrett
doing
Wilson.
very well.
He's all
I think
over
I
right
Garrett
now.
Wilson, guys. I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
Let's see. Yeah, I always say you have a lot of time. This is even less close. I mean, Ridley's worth less than the 111. So if I preferred Chris Olave over to 110 and 111, I easily prefer Chris Olave over this. Hollywood as the 29th wide receiver. Where do I have him? I have him as wide receiver 23. So I think that's good value.
Solid value.
I was surprised you was kind of an afterthought. I agree that I cannot play in a league with positional limits. That is one of my biggest pet peeves in Dynasty. I
Limited
won't
is
do it. I
so
will not
dumb.
play in such a league.
It's so dumb. Get rid of it, please.
Said with love. Yeah, I know. I appreciate that, Scott. Oh yes, Peter Howard is great. And
Heck yeah.
you
I
should listen to
second
him on
this
the
one.
Dynasty Grind. Every Wednesday at 9:30 Eastern on this channel. What is this trade? What is this? What are these picks? I can't see it on my computer, Ryan.
Oh, you're talking about the trade?
Yeah.
Was there a trade just sent to you? Is that?
Yeah, that Ryan sent me.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. It's one you
yeah.
offered before.
Oh,
All right, I'll look into that. Hard disagree on needing to get more in all trades. If it's
kind
it's
of
really
addressed that
good,
a
I
little bit.
usually just take it. Otherwise, I like to squeeze more. But I agree.
Yeah,
with
I feel
Ed-
like
Ed
because I
and-
feel like if you said, because here's the thing, like if you offer more, like if you try to get more and you say, oh no, I didn't get more, can I just have that other offer you sent? Boom, it's done.
Yeah.
You can just do that, and then they'll take it.
we answered this one already.
Yeah.
Ooh, Jalen Tolbert's about like the worst you could do.
Yeah.
Trey Sermon's pretty bad.
I saw a hilarious tweet about Jalen Tolbert somewhere on Twitter. Like someone like Cowboys Nation or something like that was tweeting, "Will Jalen Tolbert be the answer next year for the Cowboys at wide receiver 2?" And I was like,
No.
Like
He
no.
won't be the answer at wide receiver 4. Cup, Gibson, 212 for 24 early first and 25 first. I'll take the picks.
Yeah. Assuming is it 25 we're looking at? I mean, we can't assume 25 is
Yeah,
early.
you can't assume 20, but you
Or
can't
early.
assume 24.
25 is too far away. But
Picks.
yeah, I would take the picks. Yeah.
10 teams start 10. Superflex send Hurts, Pittman,
You already lost
307
10 Hurts
for
away.
Herbert and Amon-Ra.
It's close.
Send it.
I'd do it.
Herbert side easily for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
Herbert
not
Mona
close.
is too good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Traded 101 in Barkley for Trevor Lawrence, Garrett Wilson, and 201. I have a 103.
man.
Need to hit on the pick. Biggest need is at running back.
Oh, good trade.
Uh,
oh wait,
I
hold on.
want.
Never mind. I misread it.
I want Lawrence.
I like it though. I like it.
Bijan and Barkley for T-Law, Garrett Wilson to a
Yeah, well, I'd rather have Wilson plus over Barkley and Lawrence over Bijan, so it's easily Lawrence.
Yep. Definitely Lawrence side.
Yeah.
Well-
I think this was what I was trying to say originally. But I think maybe I didn't say it so great. But I'm glad that we now
We're moving
come
at
to
a fast
an agreement,
pace.
Patrick. We now come to an agreement. Yeah, no, I'm glad to be back.
Up.
I do think I think I'm realizing that maybe the show is going to be more like 90 minutes than 2 hours, but just yeah. I was very happy. I've been very happy with this show and the way it's went. 112, 24 first, 25 first for Waddle. I have CMC, Kelsey, Lamb, and Herbert. That's a lot to pay 2 future first and 112 for Waddle.
But it's 112. You know,
one QB.
Yeah, the 112.
Makes me more.
I'm okay with it.
I'm
I'm
okay
okay
with
with it. I'm good with it. I like it.
I'm okay with it.
I'll take
I'll
Waddle.
take Waddle.
Yeah. Okay.
I
that's
don't
a
think
good-
either
good
Judy or Cam Akers will be top tier. But I think they could be valuable, more likely Judy. Judy is still only 23 as a receiver. He'll turn 24 in June. Like, Judy still has time, whereas Cam Akers as a running back after 3 years in the league, I'm not betting on like, that's just not going to happen. But Jerry Judy, I feel like, still has time to have like a Robert Woods or career arc or something. And that was still pretty good. So he could still be valuable, but Cam Akers less so. So I'd prefer Judy in Dynasty if choosing between the two.
Oh yeah.
Trying to unload Saquon. DJ Moore and what would be an okay return? Oh, I would still need maybe say it's super flex. Oh, it is super flex. Like a late first with Moore, 111 or 112.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
If I had that, I could at least live with it.
Yeah.
You know?
I would search for more, maybe a little.
I would search for more,
a
but
little bit more.
First thing that came to my mind was the 108. So yeah,
that's probably pushing it. You can try, but that's probably pushing it.
Yeah.
Just traded Deshaun Watson for the 103. I think
that's tough.
Deshaun Watson, according to ADP, is worth more. According to my valuation, is probably worth more. If you really don't want Deshaun Watson on your team, I get it. I'm okay with it.
Both of the quarterbacks, I'm okay.
But I think I have to go with Deshaun Watson is worth more.
Yeah, he is.
I'm okay with this trade, but I'm not like excited.
It's the kind of thing where if you don't want Deshaun Watson on your team and this is what you had to take to get rid of him, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson is worth it. So let's go around and just kind of Twitter handles and anything that we're working on, and then I'll close out the show.
All right. Who wants to start?
Hey, I'm Josh.
Go for it, Josh.
Find me on Twitter at Josh Fuster. You can see it right below my name here. It's spelled Josh. That's my first name. It's spelled Josh Fuster, Fewster. But I just want to say, what I've been working on. I was working on a couple of weeks ago, and I forgot about it when we were having the Lamar Justin Fields talk. Justin Fields has not had more points per game than Lamar ever. Like he had 19.7, I believe, in a 4-point per passing touchdown league this season. He had like 22 in a 6-point per passing touchdown league. Lamar has had more points per game every single year of his career than Justin Fields had this year. That's all I gotta say. Checking me out on Twitter.
Right.
I mean, I'm just on Twitter right here at RyanPros_FF. Obviously, I haven't been working on much recently with having to leave Tyler's show, but I'm gonna get back into the swing of things. We're gonna get there.
You can go follow me on Twitter. I'm at HutchinsonB_FF. Check out Hutchinson Brown's Fantasy Football Perspective. It's a podcast I host pretty much anywhere podcasts can be found. You can check out my work here with DLF. I write with them, write articles, and also on the DLF show every week. And I also make videos for the football guys and their YouTube channel, so you can go check that out weekly. And that's pretty much all I do. I'm working on a Patreon. Just trying to come out with that soon. And then I'm also looking to make a draft kit this offseason too. I'm just a 16-year-old trying to find a space in the fantasy football community.
Bro just said that's all I do.
I know.
The laundry list.
I know. And
I just sell yourself short.
We all know me. Tyler. There's my Patreon. Tyler FF Creator everywhere. And there's this show 7:30 p.m. Eastern every Tuesday, and then my show 2 p.m. Eastern every Monday on my YouTube channel, which is this one. But yeah, I appreciate everyone for tuning in to the return of this show, and we'll be back next week with another exciting show, and I'm pretty sure we'll have Peter Howard as a guest, so it'll be extra exciting. But I will see you all next week. Peace.
You're 16, Hutch. You're 16.